Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. This channel, Avid Science, is all about trying to learn various concepts of Avid Science by practicing a lot of questions. In this video, we are going to solve this question on Leetcode regarding build the equation. The difficulty level of this question is hard, and I'm going to share the SQL schema as well as the Pandas schema in the description box below. Okay, the question reads, we are given a table called terms with two different columns, power and factor, power being the column with unique values for this table. Each row of this table contains information about one term of the equation. Power is an integer in the range 0 to 100 and factor is an integer in the range minus 100 to 100 and cannot be 0. You have a very powerful program that can solve any equation of one variable in the world. The equation passed to the program must be formatted as follows. The left hand side should contain all the terms. The right hand side should be 0. Each term of the left hand side should follow the format sign, fact, x and the symbol and then the power, where sign is either plus or minus, fact is the absolute value of the factor, power is the value of power. If the power is 1, do not add power. So for example, if power is equal to 1 and factor equal to 3, the term will be plus 3x. If the power is 0, add neither x nor power. For example, if power is 0 and factor is minus 3, the term will be minus 3. The powers in the LHS should be sorted in descending order. We are asked to write a solution to build the equation. Okay, let's go through this example. So here we have power 2, 1 and 0 and these are the factors. So the question says that if the power is 0, all you need is only the factor. So here you need plus 2. If your power is 1, all you need is minus 4x, and if it is greater than 1, it should be plus 1x to the power of 2, and that is what you have in our output, right? So plus 1x to the power of 2 minus 4x plus 2 equal to 0. If we look at another example, so here we have power 4, 2 and 1. So it should be minus 4x to the power of 4 plus 1 into x to the power of 2 minus 1x equal to 0, and that is what you have in our output. So let's try to solve this question. So the first thing that we should do is, since we have the factor column, let's make another column with the concatenated values for the factor, that if it is greater than 0 it should be plus 1, if it is less than 0 then just keep the factor value, right? So let's try to do that. So from this table called terms, let us keep both the columns. So select star, and then if the value of the factor column is greater than 0, then you return concat it with plus sign and then the factor value, else you return this factor value simply, and let's alias this entire thing as factor with sign, and let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we get in our output. So now if you look at this, what we have is, we have if it is was greater than 0, so plus 1 minus 4 and plus 2. Okay, once we have these factors with sign, then let's save this entire thing in a common table expression. So with CTE as, this entire thing goes into parentheses, and then what we are going to do is, now let's try to get the format that this question asks, that x to the power and all that. So from this common table expression, right, what we are doing is, let's keep all the three columns and then use case when statements. So it says that if the power is 1 and factor is 3, the term will be plus 3x. So similarly here you have factor with sign, so you have the factor minus 4, all you need is concatenate it with x. So case when your power is equal to 1, then what you are basically doing is concatenate the factor with sign with only x. Now, what we need is, when your power is equal to 0, then you do not add either x or power. That means if your power is 0 and factor is minus 3, only the term will be the factor, right? So for example, here if you have power equal to 0, all you need in our output is factor with sign. So when power is equal to 0, then what you do is just return me FWS. Okay. Else, in all other conditions, what you need is, else you basically return concatenate. So for example, for this, it should be plus 1 x to the power of 2. So concatenate factor with sign, then x to the power, and then it should also be concatenated with the actual power that we have, right? So as power, and let's end this as, let's give it any alias, let's call it eq. Let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we get in our output. So now if you look at this, what you have is plus 1x square minus 4x plus 2, right? So if you look at our output, right? So here if I look at this, so it should be plus 1x square minus 4x and plus 2. Similarly, if I look at case 2, here it should be, if I look at another example, it should be minus 4x to the power 4 plus x to the power 2 and minus 1. So now all this is present in individual terms. What we need is we need to concatenate all of the above. So let's try to do this. Let's save this entire thing in another common table expression. So CTE2 as this entire thing goes into parentheses. And then what we need is we need to concatenate the values in the EQ column. So from this EQ column, what we are doing is let us return the concatenated value. Now remember, when you use concat function, it does by column. But here what you need is for one particular column, concatenate all the values in the row, right? So in that case, you need to use group concat, right? So group concat all the values in the EQ. However, there is one thing that we need to do is the powers should be sorted in decreasing order. So order by power in decreasing manner. And what is the separation between these? Nothing, right? So minus 4x4 plus 1x to the power 2 minus 1x. So there is no separator between these concatenated values. So we need to write that the separator is nothing. Okay, let me go ahead and alias this as equation. However, it is still not complete because we are only working on the LHS part. Or let me just, alias this as LHS right now. I will change it. Okay, so if you look at this, you have these values, right? And in our output, what you needed is this is equal to 0. So what we can do is once you have these values, then let's try to, let me just bring this down. So what should we do is let's concatenate the value that you got in LHS and with the equal to 0, and then this entire thing is basically aliased as equation, right? Let me go ahead and write this equation. Okay, now let me go ahead and run this. Let's see what do we get in our output. Okay, so this is accepted. Our output is same as expected output. Let me go ahead and submit to pass all the test cases. So yeah, this is accepted and this is how to do it. So yes, very tricky question. What we basically had to do was firstly, we had to assign the plus or minus signs based on the value of the factor. Once we had the factor with sign, then based on the certain conditions, when we need to use the x to the power, when we do not have to have that, etc., we use the case when statements. Once we have that, then we group concatenate the values in different rows of a column called EQ that we created, ordered by power and decreasing, and there should not be any separator. And then once we have the LHS, we concatenated the LHS with the RHS, and RHS should be equal to 0, and we got the final output. So that's how we do it. Let me know if there's a better, more efficient solution to solve this question. Let the solution be in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.